Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny and I'm an astrologer. I channel the energy of Archangel Metatron, who I met as the Holy Spirit when I was a very young child, and did that for a while and then put that away when I left the Christian fundamentalist church that I was raised in and picked it back up again a few years ago. Um, but I work as an energy healer. My healing sessions are going through people's natal charts. Doesn't have to be with a natal chart, but removing stories that are shown like through all of the planets, all of the houses. It isn't a certain house or certain planets where you're storing, stories of karma or things that have come in, from the ancestors. That's all throughout the chart. So what I do with Metatron is work to reach that energy of creation or the energy of God, the energy of unconditional love that we're all sparks of. And then he helps me to, weed out the stories that people would like to heal. So that's what I do. And I'm going to be moving into teaching that I'll be selling like a series of teachings about each of the planets and then learning how to do what I do and how I came to enlightenment through the natal chart, through reading your own natal chart and doing that work yourself and coming fully into your psychic gifts and abilities and being able to shine. And so that's what's coming up next. Like once we get all these, the bigger retrogrades out of the way, once we move into September, I'll talk about that more in future videos. But today we are going to talk about the new moon solar eclipse coming in the constellation of Leo. And Metatron called this Create Your Life. This is what we're doing now, people. We're coming into, it's the constellation of creativity and where all of our blessings and gifts that we've come in with are there. Like that would be in your third house or in the constellation of Leo. The sun is home in the constellation of Leo. So it's about living out the higher energies of our sun and allowing ourselves to shine and to bring forward what it is that we have, the gift that we have inside us, bringing that forward into the world. So at the time of that new moon, it's happening at 4:57 p.m. on the 11th Central Standard Time. So just adjust for your time zone. So again, we have a 12. We look at the minutes after the hours. So the 5 and the 7 that's a 12. And it's also the 3. That's the Trinity. It's about bringing forward our own ascended mastery, the I am presence within each one of us. The sun, it symbolizes like the ego in our natal chart. It's also the sun, like the light, the luminary, the illumination is what he's saying. So for that new moon, we have Saturn, Uranus, Chiron, and Mars and Lilith all having a conversation during that new moon. So Mars, and which we've been discussing a lot with this Mars retrograde conjunct the South Node, pretty significant that that's happening. At this time now, he is going to be completely meeting with Lilith. He and Lilith are going to be at the same degree in the constellation of Aquarius, and they're at 0 degrees. So I found that very interesting. At 0 degrees, planets at 0 degrees are debilitated. Okay, because so if you have a planet at 0 degrees, then that's something that you would want to take a look at. What happens in my sessions is we pop into the timeline where it first happened, and then you're able to witness what brought it about. But for some reason we have like taken the energy of that planet and kind of zapped it out. So it's like we have to put more emphasis or effort into it, kind of like a retrograde. It feels like it's tied up, like it can't express itself fully. At 0 degrees with Mars and Lilith both being there, that is like a sign of peace, or what he was saying, like no wrath involved. again, we're still in the energy, and I feel like a lot of this stuff is really like related to the last video that I did for the past 2 weeks, really, because it's a lot of continuing. We're kind of continuing that same story with the unleashing, with Saturn trine Uranus, Saturn being the Lord of Karma, and he is in Capricorn, authority, his own constellation, authority, institutions, the government, the patriarchy kind of thing. And then with Uranus, who brings freedom, who sets us free of whatever it is that's stopping us from being able to move forward. He is in the constellation of Taurus, where he is very uncomfortable. He's not able to like move around and just do what he wants to do. Taurus is like slow moving, and it's earth. So that's where he is in his fall. But those two energies speaking together, it's about unleashing us from whatever it is that's got our hands tied or makes us feel like we're unable to move forward. And I keep saying, and again, the astrology reflects this, again, for this next period coming, that a lot of this story is going to be played out in partnerships. So what I felt like with that Mars Lilith at 0, it seemed like it would be like a peaceful ending to a partnership, like for individuals. Or, with eclipse energies, you kind of look 6 months. It can play out longer than that, honestly. With an eclipse, these energies might not, these things might not happen in that week, but it's like a prelude of things to come kind of thing. So that also could be, that energy of the feminine Black Moon Lilith, who's been, who won't stand being, subjugated or talked down to, treated them as if they're less than. And then that Mars fire masculine energy, whenever you're talking about any planet with the south node, it's like the lower energy. So both Lilith and Mars are with the south node now. So we're talking about the lower energies of that. So I think it's great symbolism that they're at 0, because it sort of like neutralizes that energy. And we've got Venus had moved into Libra earlier this week, and she will be in opposition to Chiron. And in the middle of that conversation that Venus in Libra is having with Chiron in Aries is Saturn. Okay, so that's about the feminine wanting to partner, wanting to express herself. And then the wound of the masculine, okay, is what's opposing it, because Chiron is in Aries right now. So it's also the wound of self. It's like where, Aries, Mars rules the house of self. So it's where the wound of self, maybe in partnership, where, things have gone awry, or things have, it's like where the wound within you is being reflected to you by how your partner values you, is the best way to say that. And Saturn is like judgment right now with the tarot. Well, pretty much he's kind of always like that, I guess. But Saturn in Capricorn especially is that judgment card where, maybe we won't even make a choice. Maybe the choice will be taken out of our hands because maybe we've been unable to act to free ourselves from a situation or circumstance. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a romantic partner, but there's some kind of, Venus and Libra wants balance, okay? So if there's any imbalance in partnerships, and I don't care what the relationship is, romantic, friends, what have you, that could be playing out. It will most likely be playing out in that way, that there's an unleashing or a reckoning, is what he's saying. So he's talking about also this August 11th new moon being like where we're blazing a new trail. So it's like creating not knowing exactly where we're going, maybe not seeing the whole picture and how it's going to play out. But he's talking about believing in being open to the possibility of unlimited magic, like anything being possible. So many people have, like, I have Neptune intercepted, or Neptune retrograde, or Neptune could be squaring Saturn, or there's all different ways that a Neptune problem can be played out in a natal chart. But a lot of people just don't think that it's possible for them to create the life that they want or to live out the dream life that they want. So it's about, when we're talking about this Neptune in Pisces trining Jupiter in Scorpio, that energy is coming up for their third and final, like, perfected trine. They're going to move into that, like, and it's been going on all year. It's playing out. But they're coming more into an exact energy with the trine, you know? So it's a triangle. It's like they're speaking harmoniously. They're happily having a conversation. They're communicating easily. Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So they know each other very well, and they're having a conversation about how they can help you bring forward your gifts, and then how you can be blessed and you can have everything come together, and how the universe is going to get behind you once you set that in motion. Once you decide, like, okay, this is where I'm going to point my arrow. This whole Mars South Node retrograde season is about, where are you going to point your arrow? Mars is the arrow, the sword. And Metatron started saying that to me years ago. Like, point your arrow and shoot. Choose something, choose a path. Where do you want to go? And then shoot your arrow. And once you decide what it's going to be and you take one little step forward, the universe is going to rush in to meet you and make sure that all of that comes to fruition within divine timing. There won't be anything blocking you. Okay? When we say, like, we feel blocked, we always know that's something within us. You know, it's some resistance that we have. So anyway, that's what we're talking about with the energy of the new moon. It's a wonderful new moon. It's quincunx, which is, I mean, you could say uncomfortable, but it gives a spurring. Like, when there's a quincunx in your natal chart, it's a happening kind of thing. So when you're talking about these energies, quincunx Pluto, and you're looking at Pluto as the phoenix that rises from the ashes, that's a transformation. That's a magical happening. That's something that, you know, if you look back 5 years from now and you remember, oh, I remember when I wished on that new moon and I took this step to make this happen, and then everything fell into place. It's like that. It's like, it's really possible with these energies, okay? Now, the way that it'll play out collectively, having that conversation with Pluto, maybe not so easy and happy, but, you know, we've known for a while, like I've been talking about it all year, that we're going to have a lot of shifts and changes on the planet. We've got another, not the August 11th moon event, but then the full moon in Pisces coming at the end of August is another story about political leaders, religious leaders. So we'll talk about that in a while. But we've got, with Saturn in Capricorn wants honesty and integrity, and those in places of rulership, those who are in authority over us. Saturn is looking for honesty and integrity. So we'll see how this plays. I did take a peek at one of the world leaders' charts where this is happening and where that Mars South Node is going on. So we'll see how it plays out for the United States. Pretty significant what's happening in the chart of the United States right now as well. Uranus moves retrograde the day of this new moon. So Uranus and Taurus, you know, wants to set us free. And in Taurus is the physical body. So if, like, when Venus moved into Virgo, which it's finished now, but when Venus moved into Virgo, I was like, I'm starting a cleanse. I'm starting a cleanse as soon as Venus moves into Virgo. And guess what? Now she's in Libra, and I haven't started the cleanse yet. But Taurus is the physical body. So what's going on for a lot of people, I've seen people talking about on social media. None of my clients have had this, but I have seen it talked about, that people are having physical reactions. That's where there's some resistance to you breaking free of a circumstance. There's something that's preventing you from moving forward. And typically when, Uranus is trying to break us free. It's not that simple to do. But what happens when we don't just get the message, like, okay, you need to let this go, then the universe will just come in and do it for you. And that's when Uranus situations can get kind of messy. But he's going to move backward now until January 7th. And he will be coming back to where he was in April of this year, like the end of April. Okay. So situations that have gone on like since the end of April could be coming back. And it would be in relation to something with your physical body. It depends on your natal chart where Uranus is transiting right now. And it also depends on what Uranus is doing in your natal chart. When you're talking about planets retrograde, it's always good to look at what is going on with your specific planet, like what the placements of it. Have you cleaned all of that mess up yet? That's where you want to pay attention to what's happening with your specific Uranus. What was it doing at the time that you were born? But this will be when you're going to want to be letting go of things that that are not good for your body. Kind of bringing your body into balance and releasing ways that you aren't showing your body love and value. That's really the best way to kind of gauge how much someone loves themselves. Like, how do they treat their physical body? Like, do they see themselves as worthy of taking the time to feed yourself nutritious foods, exercise, do all of that kind of thing? So, or anything with this Jupiter Neptune energy going on all year, that can be about addictions or escape. Really not, I'm not going to say addictions, I'm going to say escapism, because a lot of people there's whole lot of things we can use to escape. People can overeat as a way to escape, like something that you're doing that's not healthy, that's like the old way that you used to do things before you came into your awakening and realized that you're a spark of God. And now it's time for us to release habits that are no longer good for our physical body. Okay. So what I found interesting is he's going to move back to the 28 degrees of Aries, and he will be there. He doesn't start to move forward again until January 7th, but he's going to get there that first week of January-ish. Or maybe a little bit ahead of that. But anyway, end of this year, beginning of next year. Mars, at the time of this moon on the 11th, is going to then move into Capricorn. And he is going to move back in Capricorn to his degree of exaltation, which is 28 degrees of Capricorn. On the 28th of the month, he will move forward from the 28th degree. What's interesting is that Uranus and Mars are both ending their retrogrades at the 28 degree marks, which means it's another square because it's Capricorn and Aries that we're talking about. So that's another one of those square energies. So I'm going to be curious to see what's playing out now and what's going to come up again in the beginning of January. And I said to Metatron, what's going, because when he shows me something like that, I know there's a reason. And he said that is when we step into a new frontier. There is a new moon coming on the 5th, or no, a full moon. Oh no, I don't think I wrote it down either. No, it's a new moon. It's new moon on January 5th. And it's in Capricorn, and it involves Saturn, Mercury loosely, Saturn, the sun, and the moon are all going to be clustered up in Capricorn, and Jupiter and Sagittarius, which is beautiful for everyone. The truth and blessings and gifts and a lot of knowledge and wisdom coming forward next year during that Jupiter transit. But Jupiter is going to be speaking directly to that new energy happening in Capricorn. So I don't know what the new frontier is going to be about. He didn't give me the information on it. He just said that we're stepping into a new frontier. So I thought that was pretty exciting. And then immediately following the new moon, that Jupiter-Neptune trine will come into place. So it's about, again, setting your intentions at the new moon on the 11th. and then allow yourself to like think like what I could actually do with this. Like what could I actually do if the universe lined up behind me and I had backing from all of the light systems throughout all that is? What could I accomplish? Okay, this is where our thinking is now. This is what we're doing. We're coming into our own ascended mastery. It's the year of the master, okay, 2018. That's us. Okay, it isn't just the guys that we talk to. That's us. We incarnated here to bring forward our gifts of ascended mastery. Okay, and it's obviously not a coincidence that Jupiter is moving through Scorpio during the year of the master, because it's bringing up everybody's dark, icky, ucky. And then on top of that, you got Mars conjunct the South Node. So you're talking about the wound of the inner child. And you're talking about the wound of self and the wound of the masculine. And when we as women were the masculine, and the way that we treated other women when we were the masculine, or when the way that we were treated by the masculine as women, you know, you can go to all of that. Okay. It's all of those wounds that we haven't quite purged, he's saying, coming up to be exercised is what he's saying, healed. So then on the and that energy, by the way, from like about the 12th, you'll start feeling it. I mean, and we've been in it, okay, like pretty much this whole year, that Jupiter trine Neptune. That's why a lot of us at certain periods are exhausted. But that's going to go on through the 23rd. That's going to be happening, that they're speaking like that together. On the 18th, then Venus will get involved in that. Venus in Libra. Venus is very happy in Libra. So I think that'll be a nice shift over these next couple weeks. I think it's great that, you know, Mars and Lilith are at 0 degrees when that eclipse comes as well. But so on the 18th, Venus is going to speak to that too. So the 18th should be like a real happy day for all of us. And then the 19th, Mercury is going to move direct. During the new moon, Mercury is pretty tied in. He's only 4 degrees away. So he's tied into the energy of that new moon while he's retrograde. Now, when he starts to move forward, like for the last week of August, he's going to pull that energy back up to our attention. Like he's going to kind of revamp the energy. It's going to bring back the eclipse energy, because he's going to be moving forward and then coming to where he was at the time of the eclipse, and then moving, you know, into the degrees where the eclipse actually happened too. So on the 5th, the 25th. The 25th, the sun in Virgo, okay, the sun moves into Virgo, and he'll just be at 2 degrees Virgo then. He's going to be speaking. So now you've got Saturn in Capricorn, Earth, and you have to just see the chart that the Earth, you know, the Earth signs, the air signs, the water signs, they all form what's called a trine, okay, to one another, and the fire signs. I think I forgot the fire signs. So Uranus in Taurus, Saturn in Capricorn, and the sun in Virgo are all going to have a conversation on the 25th. So that will be something serious, okay? It just feels, even when I'm talking about it, it feels serious. So it's good that we have this Venus talking to the Jupiter, Neptune to kind of lighten up the energy, because then after that, we're going to move right into, or really like at the same time, basically, we're going to move into that Sun trine Uranus Saturn. I mean, I hope that sets off some stuff like collectively as far as government officials and ridding the earth of the way that we've been treating it. But we'll see what happens. And then we'll start moving into that Pisces full moon energy. So what's really exciting about this full moon coming at the end of the month on the 26th is Fomalhaut, which is a fixed star. There are 4 of the, you know, what do they call them? The royal stars. Each are associated with an archangel, okay? This full moon is happening on the star that's associated with Archangel Uriel. And then the sun, which always stands, you know, opposite, or, you know, in the opposite constellation from the moon in Pisces, the sun in Virgo is going to be with the asteroid Oriel which is symbolic of the energy of Archangel Uriel. So that's two nods to Uriel, and Uriel is like that, kind of like the Uranus energy too, but in Uranus and Taurus, pretty much. But he's like lightning, and he's about like, let's get the earth back to let's heal the earth, is what he's saying. So we'll see what he has to say about that full moon. But I mean, it looks very serious. I was kind of like, it's maybe good that this is an eclipse, because Mars will be stationary direct on the degree where he is in exaltation, and he's way out of bounds for that. So, formal hot, that fixed star can go either way, okay? I mean, really, everything's always working together for our good, right? It always is. It's always unleashing us from karma. We're fulfilling some karma, and so we don't have to deal with it again. But everything's always working together for good. So we'll see what happens and how that energy plays out. But Archangel Uriel is like right in it. So yeah, you can bet that there's going to be some kind of movement having to do with something very powerful coming. So yeah, and then what else was I going to say about that full moon? Yeah, that full moon will be, that will still be that Uranus, Saturn, and then with this one coming on the 11th, now with Uranus moving retrograde, we're at 7 retrogrades. And remember what Metatron said, like the retrogrades are about releasing. And it's when we're like letting go of the old story in order to bring the new one in. Everyone moves into a new divine timing in September. And I have the sale going on my website, astrologyforascension.com, through the Mars retrograde. And then I'm going to offer another special that I've shared with some of my clients, like a 4-session deal. So if you have any questions, I wanted to thank everyone who leaves comments and likes and shares my videos too. I very much appreciate it. And, I really want to get the message out. I want everyone to know that the universe is there for them and is ready to back them up on their plan. And that if they're brave enough and they have the courage enough to step forward and start creating their life, or leave the relationship that that's not worthy of their love, that they're allowed to do that. A lot of people are so unhappy and they're waiting for someone else to come along and make a change, or the spouse to die, or the spouse to leave them. Maybe the universe is waiting for you to take a step towards your own freedom. Maybe the universe has got somebody really special waiting for you, and we're all just going to wait and see like how you're going to handle the situation you're in now. See if you're ready for it. When we're staying in those unhappy situations, it's like telling the universe, I'm fine. I can settle for this, And then if it's like something to do with like being afraid you're going to earn your own income, there's a lot of stories. Pretty much everybody has a story in their natal chart where we have obligations to be provided for by our husbands. It's nothing conscious that you're walking around thinking about. These are stories in your DNA, and they're in your subconscious mind, and you're carrying that in your energetic bodies, in your subtle body, in your physical body, in your DNA. And when you release those stories, they're transmuted to light, and then you bring in the higher energies of what that could mean, and that you're able to break free of those obligations in order to create your own life. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for sharing and commenting and liking and subscribing. And my podcast, I just got a podcast. I just started putting it together. It's called The Rising, and that will be going out this week as soon as my logo is ready to go. So, and my Facebook page is Astrology for Ascension too. I try to, fill in with little videos on Facebook when I get a chance. But anyway, if you have a question, it's jennyb at Astrology for Ascension, and I will talk to you all in about a week. Thank you. Bye-bye.